When I moved from the US to the Czech Republic in 2008, I found that things that would have been totally easy for me to handle in the US were suddenly not so easy to handle. And I found that things that would have been basically non-issues in the US suddenly became issues. Hey everyone, I'm Donna and you're watching Wanted Adventure Living Abroad. When I first moved to Prague, I could speak a little bit of Czech, but mostly stuff like, where's the train station? And nice to meet you. So when I was showering one day and the water cut off suddenly halfway through, I had no idea why. Turns out there had been information posted about it down by the mailboxes in my apartment building, but I had not been able to read it. Had I been in the US, that would not have been a problem. I could have read the information and known that the water was going to be turned off. Or when my hot water heater stopped working over Christmas. In the US, I would have simply called the landlord or whoever I was supposed to call if the landlord was unavailable because of the holidays and gotten it sorted out. That, I found, gets a little more difficult if you don't speak very much of the language of the country that you're in. How that turned out, by the way, is that I called the landlord first. They didn't pick up, so then I called the other number that I had been given, and yay, someone picked up. But of course, they were speaking Czech. What to do? Get creative with it. I didn't know very much Czech, but I did know the Czech word for water, voda, and I knew the Czech word for winter, zima. So after saying hello to the person on the other end of the line, I literally said 2 words, voda, zima. And then I repeated it for good measure, voda, zima. And I felt ridiculous. As far as I knew, the woman on the other end of the line had picked up the phone to hear me saying hello and then water, winter. Water, winter. What I didn't know at that point was that lucky for me, in Czech, the word for winter is also the word for cold. So I thought that I was saying water, winter. I was, in fact, also saying water, cold. So that was very fortuitous. She took my information and then said some things to me in Czech, and then the phone call was over. I hung up the phone, hoping that someone would be coming to my apartment to fix the hot water heater, but not actually having any idea if that was the case and when that might happen. And I didn't really have anywhere else to go. Of course, if I really had to, I could have gone and checked myself into a hotel, but then I wouldn't be at the apartment when or if or when, hopefully when, the repair person arrived to fix the heater. So I just sat there in my winter jacket, waiting to see what would happen next. I was very happy when just a few hours later, the doorbell rang and yay, someone was there to fix it. He came into the apartment, went to the hot water heater, and all of, I think, 5 minutes later, at the most, he was done and gone, and I once more had warm water. So the story had a successful ending. Everything ended up being resolved and okay within just a few hours. But still, I realized that sometimes things that would have been pretty easy for me to resolve back in the US suddenly became a little bit bigger challenges for me to figure out what to do about in a new country. One more example, getting a package from the post office. You come home, you find a letter in your mailbox saying that the mail carrier had tried to drop off a package, but you weren't home. So now the package is waiting for you at some other location for you to go pick up. Might not have been such a big deal, but this little piece of paper that I got was covered in writing in a language that I could barely read. And on this piece of paper, there were all kinds of instructions about what I needed to do to pick up the package and which specific hours I could go to get it. But my Czech skills were only good enough that I could look at the paper and figure out that written on this paper were instructions that I could not read. So what probably would have been a pretty easy task for me to do back in the US suddenly became something that I struggled to figure out. And just forget about the time that my package got stuck in customs and I had to go pick it up from there. Then I was really lost. So my question for you is, have you ever experienced something in a new city or a new country or while on vacation somewhere that you think would have been easy for you to sort out at home, but was suddenly a struggle in this new location? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please think about giving a like with the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more Wanted Adventure videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. And a really big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who help make these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to check out our Patreon page, you can find a link to that down in the description box below. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. So she took my information and then said some things to Czech in Czech to me. When I moved from the US to the Czech Republic in 2008, I found that things would have been... What?